Lust is the intense feeling of wanting sexual pleasure or having a strong sexual appetite or strong sexual desires. And it's you focusing to satisfy that desire as soon as possible, you know. You can also lust after money and power. Not only sex, not only people. I've heard people say that lust is a spirit that changes and adapts, and is also an aggressive spirit. A spirit that wants to take a hold of you and corrupt your mind and your body, right? It's also a spirit that doesn't care how anointed you are, but actually the more blessed that you are and anointed that you are, is the more that it tries to take a hold of you. And I think that's true, but I also think that lust is something that's in each and every person, and it's just a matter of overcoming it. And see, lust is stronger and affects some people more than others, Lust is also one of the 7 deadly sins. So when you find someone very attractive is usually what triggers lust, Finding the opposite sex attractive is natural, but it's when you feel that desire to want to have sex with them right away that is lust. In the Bible, in Matthew 5:28, it says, "But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart." So, dressing in a certain way can cause people to lust after you. Or seeing someone dressed a certain way can make you feel the lust inside yourself, right? And lust is something that happens without any emotional connection. It's usually the first feeling and the attraction for relationships, especially nowadays. It's natural to feel that attraction. It's just a natural thing for us humans, right? So it's when you think about and act on that sexual desire that it really becomes a problem, And since it's the initial attraction for most relationships, you need to be able to tell the difference between lust and having an actual connection with deep feelings for someone. Or you're just going to end up in a relationship based on sex, And I really think that most relationships in society these days are based on lust and those sexual feelings, and money as well, when they really should be based on chemistry or compatibility, a genuine connection, deep emotions, and being equally yoked, right? You have God-ordained partners, soulmates, as people would say, twin flames, That's what relationships should really be based on, not on money and lust and sex and just how attractive somebody is, right? Nothing wrong with wanting somebody attractive or somebody with money that can provide, but those shouldn't be the most important things, right? So most people try fighting lust when it's already in full effect, in full force. But Jesus says in the Bible, in Matthew 5:28-29, just repeating 28 here. "But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. If your right eye causes you to stumble, gouge it out and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. So this might seem a bit extreme, but it's really saying that we need to control ourselves, control our thoughts. The first look is natural, attraction is natural, but the second look is by choice. And you should practice not looking at a woman or a man with lust. If you can't help but lust when you look at somebody, then look at something else or think about something else. That's when you begin to win the fight against lust. And some people will hear my videos and say I'm talking BS or whatever. But it's reality. You're just trapped in your ways and in your sinful ways. So it's not really about being ashamed of your desire or your attraction, but it's more about blocking lust before it takes a hold of you, right? We have to transform our minds as well, and not just our behavior, or we're going to lose the fight against lust. Fighting against lust isn't about willpower. You can't empty your mind, because you always have thoughts in your mind running through your mind. You can replace those lustful thoughts though. In the Bible, Philippians chapter 4 verse 8, it says, "Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things." So what you should try and do is have some thoughts, some goals, memories that you think about when lust and temptation come up in your mind. I saw a video that says 90 seconds of focused thinking can get rid of temptation and the feeling of lust. So by renewing your mind and submitting yourself to God, staying pure and fighting against lust and temptation will be a lot easier than you just trying to do it by yourself, as you are now. If you just try to do it as you are now, you're most likely just going to fail, because lust is powerful and lust is strong. And it's not like lust will just go away, right? Because it's a part of our nature as humans to find people attractive and to be sexually attracted to people. But by changing the way we think and our behavior, plus submitting ourselves to God, He will help you to overcome these temptations and the deadly sins of lust, or the deadly sin of lust, I should say. Alright? Bless up everybody.